We're here at the site of my brand new theater, the Stardust Playhouse. This is the exterior of the building. Right here, we have a patio in the works. I'm going to have everything renovated. We're going to have this leveled out, and I'm going to put in like a deck or cement it down. And this is going to be a place where people can come get some cocktails or have a cigarette or relax in between intermission. We're going to stick with the Hollywood theme, the 1920s to 1940s. We're going to have little red director's chairs and film reel tables and maybe some women's pinup art, palm trees, and then a rollout bar out here. And that's going to give us some extra room because the space is kind of small. And would you like me to take you inside? I think one of the reasons I always wanted to own my own place is art in Monterey is pretty locked down. Now, you have to have a certain look, or you have to be friends with a certain person or people, and everything around here is pretty much precast. And if you aren't in with, you know, the said directors or producers or certain places, you're not going to get a slot. I am drawn to, I would say, gritty, poignant, raw, realistic, regular theater. When I say regular, I mean not fantasy, no children's productions. But I also like to stick to things that are in my wheelhouse that I understand and that mean something to me. Because I think that all artists, playwrights write something to give a message. And I feel connected to that message from my own personal life experiences. And I would like to present that to the community for the people that are hungry for that type of art. And I know that there is a market for that here. And I want to help bring that to Monterey. You know, the stuff I'm doing isn't a vanity project, and I'm not trying to work my issues out through my plays. I just feel that if I've experienced these things and they're really relevant to me, I know I'm not alone in that. And I know there's a lot of people that can relate and would like to see more of that so they can commiserate and maybe heal through art.
And is there anything in your personal life experiences that are reflected in your work?
Yes, I would have to say. I wouldn't normally think so, but I do find myself gravitating towards themes that have a lot to do with spousal abuse, alcoholism, drug abuse, being a single mother, being destitute, not having any support, you know, mental illnesses, whether not necessarily myself, but people in my life that I've had to deal with those issues with because I cared for them. And broken home, lots of different things. And it seems that a lot of the stuff I pick deals with those same topics. I grew up a little too fast. I had a lot of potential. I got really good grades in school, but I was really more concerned with being popular and hanging out with boys and all of that kind of thing. So I did that. You know, I let my grades slip. I hung out with boys, partied a lot, did a lot of things. Had a baby way too soon, you know, and dated a lot of guys that were not good for me, way too old. Kind of lost my childhood a little bit. Kind of having a baby at 23, you kind of stunt your childhood, and that set off a series of very bad choices for me in terms of people that I hung around with, situations that I got myself in. I had a few situations in my life where I was about to get married, but they ended over some severe spousal abuse, I should say, domestic violence. I have been involved with a lot of people with severe mental disorders, drug addictions. I'm a codependent person. I always thought that I could fix everybody. I thought I was strong enough to take care of myself and save the world all at the same time. And what really happened was everyone I ever tried to help out was looking out for them. And I was looking out for them and no one was looking out for me. And so I lost a lot of time, I'd say a decade of my life, not doing what I wanted to do, trying to save save everybody else. And in that time, became very resentful and realized I was working dead-end jobs and not happy and not living my dreams. And then I started drinking a lot, try to numb that, to try to self-medicate. And I would jump into different relationships thinking that that was going to save me. And so, interesting story, it was a blessing in disguise. I got involved with this one man and we got engaged, and he ended up being a really violent man. And we went to couples therapy, and I met the most amazing woman in the world. And she actually is the one who talked me into living my dream, and that is to go to school to become an actress. What she did for me is she gave me the confidence to go to school and to try to do something remarkable and awesome for myself. And I did, and I went in as an actress. I loved it. I was forced to take directing even though I didn't want to. And as soon as I did, I fell in love with it. And now it's all I want to do, even more so than acting. And so it's kind of like out of a lot of turmoil came some really great things. That is a positive future, knowing what my dreams are, and cutting out all that garbage from my life, people that are dragging me down. But if I hadn't gone through that, I would have never found art. And so it's kind of a happy story in the end. So I'm going to take you on a very short tour because it's only one room. But basically, this is going to be our little area where we have a guest book, and we're going to have a huge thing on the wall for merchandise. We're going to do sweatshirts, baby tees, tank tops, and all that stuff with our logo, coffee mugs, things like that, try to make some money. This is going to be where we're going to put our old-fashioned ticket booth that my grandpa's building right now for us. We're going to have the red carpet and the red ropes coming out the door. We're going to have a renovated patio. This right here, we're going to build a retaining wall, and we're going to put up the lighted mirrors, Hollywood style for the actors, with a little bit of tables and a couple chairs. This is going to be the little area to the bathroom. Right here, we're going to just put a couple chairs and a lamp. And then we're going to have to build, by the city's request, a wall here, leave an opening here for a curtain for people to come in wheelchair accessible, and another retaining wall here. We have to block out the windows, and where you're standing now is going to be a 3-tier seating system, and it's going to hold 30 to 32 people. Then there's a small apron that delineates the audience from the acting area. And pretty much where you see the white primer is our acting area. And it will have its own separate door built into this retaining wall right here, so that the audience never sees behind the scenes. And that's what the plans are. Plus, we're getting rid of all these lights, like I said. We're putting in beautiful little regular house lights. And I've got a wonderful man coming in named Roger Thompson, who is going to put in a bar and give me 4 awesome lighting instruments. We're going to do Fresnels, Parkans, I believe, and maybe a couple pin spots. We don't need any floods, it's too small for that. And that's what we're going to have. And that's how it's going to be for the first 3-4 years until I outgrow this place and move on and find myself a bigger home.
What is your dream? Where would you like to end up? Starting here, like, where do you see this going? Like, if things continue.
That's a great question, because I have a good
Where do you
answer
see
for
this?
that. I deliberately chose this space because it's small, and I know that. And I have a lot of people that say, "Oh my God, you can't do that in here; it's too small." But so you got to start somewhere. And I'm a first-time business owner. I want to learn how to own a successful business, cut my teeth, and then when I outgrow this place, which in, I'd say 4 or 5 seasons I will. I only have about 5 seasons worth of plays that are for this place, maybe 20 plays. And then eventually I want to move on to something bigger, but I want to keep the theme, Playhouse. I love the Hollywood genre, but I was telling other people earlier, I want to get into a bigger place where I can accommodate larger casts, and bigger productions, and larger bands, and I want to add a bar to it, and I want to call it the Starlight Lounge, and I want to keep it kind of in the same decor and theme, but have it a little bit more rockabilly with beautiful pinup women and things like that. And I'd like to be a full-time business owner that owns a bar and a theater that are connected into one, and also make independent films in my spare time, because that's why I'm going to school. Submit those whenever I can, write scripts, try to get those published, and maybe after I get my master's, do a little teaching at a college somewhere. And that to me sounds like a perfect life.
I understand your mother has a role in this production company, Playhouse.
She does, actually. She's my partner. She's been in theater longer than I have. She's been in theater for 40 years. She couldn't be here today because she works for CSUMB and she's on a business trip. But she would probably tell you the same thing. We went in it together because we're best friends. We see eye to eye. We have the same vision. And of course, it doesn't hurt to split the costs monetarily when it comes to starting up a business. So I'm going to play more of the artistic director role, and she's going to handle more of the books, banking, website design, tickets, that kind of thing. She will be acting in some of the shows, and she might even want to direct now and then, but I'm going to be doing the bulk of the directing. And I'm going to be inviting guest directors in as well.